Oh, my goodness. Somebody was jonesing for some Cadbury eggs, let me tell you. Not just one or two. They didn't just walk into a store and just, lift one or two. Somehow, 20,000.
They ripped off 20,000 Cadbury cream eggs?
20,000 Cadbury.
It's not even close to Easter.
It's not. Oh, they've been out, though. I mean, it was pre-Valentine's.
Really?
I think so, when they hit the shelves. Or here's what I see it, in the back of Walmart. As soon as Valentine's Day is over, like 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, these people run out with all the Cadbury cream eggs and all the Easter stuff, ready to just switch it out.
But somebody stole 20,000
20,000.
Why?
I think he was going to turn it and try to make some money off of it.
He's going to go out to the jockey lot?
Yeah, I mean, they cost like $1 a piece, I think, maybe a little more than that. So, he was looking to bank before Easter.
Sell for $1.50, huh?
Yeah, or 75 cents. He didn't pay for them.
I hope he got caught.
Oh, he did.
Good.
He did. But, ew, just disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those things.
Like the caramel ones? Yeah, they're okay.
Well, Scott loves these things.
Ugh.
Come on. They're great.
They're disgusting. And I think it's not even the taste. It's thinking that it's a raw egg. In my head, my brain cannot get past that it looks like a raw egg.
Because when you crack them open, it looks like egg,
Just
right?
Just a runny green, not green, a runny egg.
But the best part of the Cadbury cream egg?
What?
Is that bunny rabbit going buck, buck, buck.
Oh,
buck,
the commercial.
buck, buck, buck.
Oh, you like the commercial.
That's the best part.
You eat them because of the commercial. Come on.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
20,000 Cadbury eggs. And he didn't get away with it.
No,
he got
he didn't.
arrested. It kind of struck a chord of memories for people. It's Rob and Liz, his radio, 800-447-7234.
Kat texted and said, okay, if the Cadbury eggs were dark chocolate, then I might be okay with that. So she doesn't like the just regular version.
Okay.
So dark chocolate. Okay, Tammy says, nope, she's not into the Cadbury cream eggs at all. Reese's eggs are much better. I don't like the Cadbury cream eggs. Reese's eggs, all day long.
Well, is it like a Reese's peanut butter cup?
It is, but it's in the
It
shape
just looks
of
like an egg.
But the ratio of the peanut butter filling is...
More?
It's better. It's the only one I like. No, I like
Wait,
the
how do
Nutcracker
you
one
not?
too.
They're the same thing. It's
No,
just
the
shaped
ratio's
differently.
different. The ratio's different.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Are we-
I'm sorry.
Are you taking me on right now?
Yes. And I'm going to win.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes,
Have we
I
met?
am. Kim is here at 800-447-7234. What about the Cadbury egg for you?
I always have to have them, and I have to lick the cream out of them before I eat the rest of the egg.
Really?
Ew.
So how in the world do you get into it to suck that stuff out?
I eat the top, I crunch the top, and then I lick it until it's all the way down, till there's nothing left, and then I eat the egg.
I've never heard of that. That's pretty awesome.
Me and my sister-in-law, every year, we would buy all that we could buy and freeze them, so we'd have them all during the year.
So do you eat them frozen?
No, we eat them while they're frozen, too.
You know, you can warm them up in the microwave. I'd set it.
Shut up. That would take the whole effect out of it. What are you talking about?
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So here's the thing. I don't know if you've heard about this movie, and it's coming out. And it's back when Chuck Smith in the early 70s, when there was a movement of, what would you call it? I want to call it Flower Child.
Sort of. Like I hate to use the word hippie, but I mean, that was it. Yeah.
That was the era, right?
Right.
That this movement came, and then it was music, and it was this revolutionary preacher that they said, and it was Chuck Smith. So anyway, the movie's coming out. And it's made by the Irwin brothers, which is the same brothers that made I Can Only Imagine.
Right.
And so I had the opportunity to be on the movie set because I was in I Can Only Imagine at the very end of the. I don't say that a lot, but I'm only referencing that, not to brag, but to say that I've been on one of their movie sets, and it's really professional. And they hire not just Christians, but also non-Christians to do all the work. There's a lot of work. And I like that because the nature of their movies is real. And then all of a sudden, those who are on the set and they're working on these sets are like, wow, this is the real deal.
Yeah, even some of the actors as well. and they get, what is in that movie.
So let's get from I Can Only Imagine back to Jesus Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are crew members of Jesus Revolution that are experiencing what the story is about and that Jesus is real and what that time frame of this whole Jesus movement was going through, that during the scene when there was a baptism, all of a sudden these crew members are like, okay, I know the scene's done, but can I get baptized here?
I want a personal relationship.
I want this relationship with Jesus. Can I get baptized here?
Right.
And so all of a sudden this movement is happening on the movie set.
Yeah. And not just even some of the people, the crew, but there were extras and bystanders, from what I understand, that also kind of raised their hand and said, I want to be involved in this because I want to know what this is all about. I want this Jesus in my life.
So this little movement about the movement is happening, which is there's like this whole stirring thing that's going on. It's amazing. And if I can mention, coming up on Wednesday next week, we're going to just step aside at His Radio. I mean, we're being here. We're not going anywhere. But with this movement that seems to be happening at colleges, on a movie set, you're going to hear it a little bit about a Disney star that just got baptized over the weekend. This stuff is happening. And so Wednesday next week, starting at 6, and it's going to end when it ends. I mean, we're going to watch God move in a mighty way.
Yeah, we're just asking God to move.
And here's what we're going to ask you to do. If you would, get ready with your story of what God is doing and moving on your heart. Share scripture and pray, and that's all coming up on Wednesday. So while this stuff is happening on movie sets and colleges, why can't it happen right here?
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
You want to go out with the kids? Think twice. It's Rob and Liz in the morning, His Radio.
Do not go to Nettie's House of Spaghetti in Jersey because they said no kids. No kids under 10 years old. They're done. They're over it. They're moving on.
You have to be at least getting to be a teenager before you can go to this one restaurant.
Yeah, they said
something happened.
Oh, yeah. They said, so first of all, just the messes themselves have become ridiculous.
Well, spaghetti. It's going to get all over the place.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they have like lasagna and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, but kids under 10 are going to get the spaghetti,
probably,
right?
And the meatballs and shooting them like marbles.
Some high chairs and then food all over the place. I get that part of it, but still,
Well, and they're saying the high noise level and the waitresses can't, because they have a small establishment, the waiters and waitresses can't kind of navigate between the high chair. I mean, it's a lot. So they made an ordinance, or not an ordinance, but they made a rule for their restaurant, and there's a sign, and it says, no kids under 10.
Wow.
Sorry, but no kids under 10.
I don't have kids under 10 because my youngest is 14 now.
Oh, right. So y'all
but
can
I don't
go
know if I'd go.
to Nettie's House of Spaghetti.
Yeah, because, one day I'll have a bunch of grandkids all over the place that I'd want to bring,
Yeah. However, I can see, and I'm a parent and a grandparent, that sometimes you just want a meal without the noise. I don't think it should be a rule, but it is nice when you have that just one-on-one with your girlfriends or just your hubby.
Scott's kids scream in the restaurant.
Oh, no.
Hey, my daughter, when she was about 3, she is so into ranch dressing. And the waitress was about to walk away, and she leaned back. She said, "Don't forget the ranch."
And she
It
yelled.
was so cute.
So she yelled it. Now, see that.
But kids are going to spill a little bit in the restaurant.
Yeah.
That just happens.
And they're going to be noisy and blow raspberries and, all the things that kids do.
It's kids. That's
right.
joy. That's fun.
It is joy.
I love that.
I do too. But I can't see the rule. Don't get me wrong. I don't see the rule of saying
Listen,
no kids ever.
There is a reason why you see grandpas that are retired at McDonald's.
Oh, in the big group.
Yeah, because, my father-in-law does that.
Yeah.
He goes, I thought this is stereotypical. This is a movie thing. No, my father-in-law, he's in his late 70s, and he goes to McDonald's to get his coffee every day. And I think I know why. It's because there's a play center that's there, and the kids are there playing.
Oh, and they can just hear the childlike laughter.
Yeah.
And I get that. I don't see the rule. I don't see the rule, no kids under 10. But I mean, a nice night out without maybe the sounds, it's okay. But
That's
you can
when you
do
go
that
to the
at
really
home.
expensive restaurant because no families can afford those expensive restaurants.
Some of them can.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
No kids under 10 allowed. It's a ban at their restaurant. All right? It's Rob and Liz, his radio. And you should see the text coming in on this one.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so Ray said, because this place is in Jersey, he said, Jersey figures. Doesn't surprise me.
Ray.
That's from Ray.
Ray.
And then in parentheses, he put, I'm right.
Ryan's here at 800-447-7234. What do you say, Ryan?
I was at the Ponderosa Steakhouse one time, and you know how everybody would go up and get your steak, and then over to the right, they had an ice cream server where you would pull the handle and you could get the ice cream. Well, there were 6 kids over at the ice cream server, and nobody was watching them, and I just happened to look, and each one of them put their head under the server, and the other one cut it on. And they just filled their mouth and face up with the ice cream. I laughed because I couldn't say nothing. I should have said something, but, man, I mean, it was just like all over their face, and then, of course, their parents went crazy.
I'm sure I would have went crazy. It's like, hey, what are you doing?
Oh, my goodness.
Pulling the lever down, ice cream going in the mouth.
Oh, my gosh, Ryan, I'm thinking now back to my daughter's 16th birthday, Sweet 16.
That happened?
Yeah, we had a chocolate fountain, and we had like the pretzels and the marshmallows and everything that you could put under the fountain or whatever. And I think it was my husband that spotted this kid, 10 or 11 years old.
Get out.
Head up under the chocolate. Just let it
Come
rain down.
on, look at that.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Lauren is so good at coupons. Check this out. For 12 cents. For 12 cents, she was able to buy 500 jars of pasta sauce, 500 boxes of pasta, and meatballs. She fed 2,000 people for 12 cents.
What?
For 12 cents, fed 2,000 people. So she was 29, getting ready to turn 30, and she's thinking, before I turn 30 years old, I want to feed about 300 folks.
Yeah.
And then she went, wait a minute, no, how about 30,000 folks?
There's a little difference between those two numbers.
Wound up, because of her mad couponing skills, and she was just getting ready to hit 30, she fed 85,000.
Yeah. It only cost her $1,000. $1,000 to feed 85,000 people. I seriously don't know how that math works, even with couponing. And I've seen people with some, like Lauren, mad coupon skills. I've never seen this. There used to be a TV show that would do things like this. See how much you could get for as little as you could get, but nothing like this.
But for 12 cents to get 500 jars of pasta, 500 boxes of pasta, and meatballs, and feed 2,000 people?
So she had to be going to multiple different grocery stores and turning in these coupons, because a grocery store doesn't have 500 jars of pasta. The same brand, I wouldn't think. So she puts a lot of work into this, but the goal is awesome, that she's just feeding people who need. It's not like she's throwing a party. She's feeding people who need to be fed.
Well, she and her son are doing this couponing thing the whole time.
I love that he's helping out.
Isn't
with
that
this.
great? And
Yeah.
she says to feed about 500 people, she's got to clip about 500 coupons.
Yeah, and so he's hard at work. She's a single mom. Oh, yeah, she has a full-time job, by the way, that she works in mental health. And so she's already helping people at her job. But when she gets off work, she says during her lunch break, she'll sit and scour the internet trying to find the best deals, matching that up with coupons. And she does that all on the lunch break.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Joshua Bassett. I don't know if that's a familiar name to you. It could be if you watch Disney Plus or Disney Channel, whatever it is. And there is High School, the musical, the series. Man, that's a mouthful.
That's a lot.
So all of a sudden, you start noticing a few weeks ago on his social that he's starting to talk about Jesus a lot. Yeah. And then he has this experience with Jesus. And all of a sudden, he's like professing Jesus. And then on Sunday last week, he was just baptized.
I love this happened for Joshua. He said he even grew up Christian, but he turned away from it as he got a little bit older.
Well, and then get trappings of Hollywood and all that other stuff, right, and the acting lifestyle that can pull you away. If you don't surround yourself with some great people, it's easy to get pulled away, in the middle of it all. He was. But now it's like, I'm full throttle, man. And something stirred in my heart. And I'm living for him. And he was just baptized in front of everybody.
Right.
Just last weekend.
And and it's a kid that's also come from eating disorders, he said. He's been super depressed. He had addictions, and he was able to push those things aside because of Jesus.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
It is so good to see. I mean, between hearing that and then on a movie set where people are going, I want to be baptized. This thing is just too weird. I want to be baptized. And you hear some of these universities where this stuff is happening. It's like there's a movement that's happening in front of us and don't want to miss it. And next Wednesday, something is going to happen at His Radio that I'm so hopeful that you will be a part of, because when 6 o'clock hits, it's going to start full throttle. And story after story, I believe, from people like you of what God is doing in hearts and lives and scripture and prayer. And that's all going to happen on Wednesday.
Right, exactly. And, weaving that in with the music, but you're praying for other people and, you asking for prayer. It's just going to be a whole day. We don't even know, honestly, what it's going to entail, because we're just going to kind of step back and let God move. And wherever He leads it, that's where it's going to go.
That's the only plan we have.
Yeah.
The only plan we have is to move aside so God can work.
Right.
So that's coming up on Wednesday on His Radio.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Pig in a blanket. How about pickle in a blanket? It's Rob and Liz, His Radio.
Yeah, it's a new trend. I don't get it. I'm not a big pickle fan anyway, but it's so simple. It's 2 ingredients. You can make it a little fancier if you want to, but basically the trend is a spear of pickle, and I guess that's a dill, and you wrap it in a piece of cheese, and then you put it in a pan that's been sprayed, then you get the cheese all melty.
Okay, here's the
Done.
question I have. When the cheese melts, doesn't it just stick to the pan?
Not if you spray it well enough. It's not going to stick. And it has to
Really?
it can't be like a Borden sliced cheese or anything like that, because that's going to be a mess. So it needs to be a little bit better of a cheese.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe without
I
as
had no
much
idea.
fat content, I would think. And I haven't tried it. I'm just spitballing here, just trying to figure it
Really?
out.
She knows how to cook. She bakes all the time.
But baking and cooking is different.
I don't see how. You still have to use the stuff.
Cooking is, you do it based on your gut instinct.
Really?
I think you can follow a recipe, but if you mess around with it a little bit, it's okay. Baking, you don't want to, it's more scientific. So
Scientific.
it is, because you have to put, if it says this much baking powder, don't mess around with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, I don't know. I've seen also with this pickle in a blanket, people are dipping it in a batter and then deep frying it.
Ooh.
And it's like, why are we trying to do that?
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His Radio.
Dominica went into the hospital a little bit early. She's been expecting, she and her husband expecting baby, and they were ushered into the hospital a little earlier than they expected. They went in at 28 weeks and delivered their babies.
Oh, multiple. So twins.
No, not twins.
Oh, triplets.
Nope. They had quintuplets.
Is that's 5? Oh, that's 5.
5 babies.
Wow.
They had 2 boys, 3 girls. They were between, here's what they weighed, 25 to 49 ounces.
Ooh,
each.
very tiny.
Teeny tiny. So what doctors are saying is they're really good. 28 weeks, that's super early. But they said they're really doing well and they're thriving. They're going to be in the hospital and the NICU for a little while. So Dominica and her husband, they're at home with their other kids right now. Of course, they go, what?
Other kids? How
they-
many?
They got a couple.
A couple?
They got 7
7 at home?
at home.
Plus
Yeah.
5 more?
And there was a set of twins in there too. So they have quintuplets, they have a set of twins, and then they have all these other kids, 5 other kids.
Time to be done. That's a
I'm
lot of kids.
how you put them all in the same car? Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Gotta
of
have
kids.
a sprinter.
My husband comes from a family of 6. There were 2 sets of twins. Right,
I
18
had
months
no
apart.
idea.
18 months apart, and they had a van where they all loaded up and went places. They called it Big Ugly.
Big ugly. Well, then there you go.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His Radio.
Darian's like, I'm on to the squirrel. At Darian's house, literally, there's a squirrel that's like perched outside, ready to come in. It's done everything to try to get into the house, the squirrel.
I wonder what's in there he wants.
I have no idea. And so Darian's like, I just want to get pizza. I need pizza. So he orders the pizza. And he's looking on the Ring camera to see, is this squirrel anywhere? Because the squirrel's been trying to get into the house, literally.
That you have to look out
Yeah.
and see if there's a
So
squirrel.
he's looking at the Ring camera. He's like, the squirrel's nowhere. This is my shot. I can get the pizza, and the squirrel's not going to come in. He opens up the door to get the pizza. The squirrel was like underneath the awning,
Okay.
of the overhang,
Yeah.
and went poof, right into the house. Bolted into the house.
That's awesome.
Right?
This
Oh,
squirrel
my
is
word.
just like, it's my time. It's my time.
He got in. It was hectic, he said. And he finally ejected the squirrel out of the house after a long time of chasing the thing.
Ejected?
Ejected.
All I can see is him
Just
through the
eject
air.
the thing. I think, what was it for you, Scott? A chipmunk?
A chipmunk. I was at my cousin's house visiting. There were like 4 of us, and somehow this chipmunk got in the house, and so we're all like trying to chase it. I have never seen a creature fly around a room that fast.
Right?
Well, you had
And
4.
we're all like trying to grab it, and finally one of my other cousins was able to scoop him up and just take him outside quickly.
Scooped him up
Isn't that dangerous?
and
Don't they
ejected him.
ejected it? Don't
Yeah.
they
I
have
was
diseases?
worried about him running up my leg.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I don't think you'll ever guess how much somebody spent on a 4-pound box of sand. Wild guess. Rob and Liz in the morning. His radio. Wild guess.
$37.
That sounds expensive for a box of sand,
It
doesn't
really
it?
does.
4-pound box of sand. It's a little small box of sand. Somebody literally paid, and I kid you not, at an auction, $25,000 for a 4-pound box of sand. Now, on the box, it does say something.
It does.
Yeah, it's Russell Stover's. The chocolates.
Yeah, box of chocolates.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. Evidently, sand.
Evidently, sand. There's a reason the sand was in there. This is not any ordinary box chocolates. It's Forrest Gump's box chocolates.
Yeah, the prop that Tom Hanks had when he was sitting on the bench on one of those squares in Savannah, where the feather kind of went down. He had the conversation with everybody on the bench. That box was filled with sand so that it wouldn't fall off his lap.
Yeah, so it looked a little more stable than the very light Russell Stover's chocolates. And so they just auctioned it off, and it's not in somebody's house. You're actually going to be able to see it one of these days. It's at Ripley's, believe it or not. I don't know which location it's going to.
There's a lot
or
of
if it's-
those. I mean,
yeah.
you've got Gatlinburg, and
Myrtle
then there's
Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Liz's backyard.
No, sir. I'm not a fan.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Roz had an idea. He wanted to write a memoir about his life. He feels like that his memoir could, speak volumes to people. And so he started writing it a couple of years ago. And every chapter he would write, he would give it to his girlfriend and say, could you just read over this and see what you think? So this continued over the 2 years. She read the entire book. He did the last chapter, and he went ahead and sent the whole thing to his publisher. He didn't let her read the last chapter.
For real?
No.
So she probably had no idea the book was being published then at
Right.
this point.
Or maybe they talked about it and he didn't let her know there was another chapter to come, that kind of thing. So it gets printed, she gets a copy of it, and she's reading through it. She reads the last chapter, and in the last chapter, he proposed to her.
No, get out.
2 years putting together a proposal.
And she read chapter after chapter
Yeah.
as he was writing it.
As he was writing it to be, kind of his first line of defense, his editor. And then she said, I didn't even expect this. Like, I didn't see it coming. I didn't know he was going to propose. And I thought, y'all been dating for a long time because you were already his girlfriend 2 years ago. And so, yeah, they've been dating a good long while.
Look at that.
And, of course, she said yes.
Well, it's in the book.
Oh, it's in the next book.